Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, Prof. Fuad and my friends. My name is Marisa Azka Prastika, and my friends Yolanda and Karima would like to discuss about portfolio assessment and metacognitive development in EFL classroom. The first one will be introduction, learner autonomy, risk-taking, and learner ownership. This article is written by Anak, Istri, Agung, Ngurah, Mahaerani in 2015. We will start with the introduction. So, the world is changing. The changes in all of human aspect includes the education system. In Indonesia, the Ministry of Education decided to implement it new curriculum 2013. And this curriculum 2013 has 4 core competencies, and they are spiritual, attitudinal, cognitive, and psychomotor. The previous curriculum focused on the cognitive aspect, but this uh, curriculum emphasized on the spiritual and attitudinal, which includes in the attitude aspect. However, this became a new challenge for the stakeholders, especially teachers. The junior high school teachers in Bali mentioned 3 major concerns: the convenience of the product-oriented assessment, and then the unfamiliarity of the instrument to be used in order to assess the attitude aspect, and also the big class size and minimum learning facilities. So the author of this journal or article mentioned about authentic assessment. What is authentic assessment? Authentic assessment requires learners to construct unique response rather than only choosing the correct choices. So it's this really different from the assessment for cognitive aspect. This assessment can see both the cognitive and also attitude aspect. What can authentic assessment help the students with? So the authentic assessment help to improve the students in their to be able to think critically, to solve problems, to cooperate with others, and to be reflective. And this is happen because authentic assessment requires the topics which is related to the students. I mean, the topic must be close or near to the students that they can engage in the topic, and then they can discuss it with their friends or also with the teachers, and then they will be able to construct sentences to mention their opinion. So they will be able to think critically, they will be able to solve problems, they cooperate with others, and then they will be able to reflect about what they have said or about the problem that they are discussing, and then the learners will be able to judge their own work and learning progress based on the feedback from their teachers or their own peers. Portfolio, one of the authentic assessment, will help to shift the conventional learning, which emphasizes on rote learning and memorization, which is in lower order thinking skill, to higher order thinking skill and self-directed skill. This authentic assessment, especially portfolio, will help the students in doing their tasks based on their own liking. I mean, they can choose what they want to do in their portfolio, and then this will help the teacher also assess the process, the the along the way the students doing their portfolio, the teacher can also see the process or the behavior of the students, and then this portfolio support the metacognitive ability. What is metacognitive ability? Metacognitive ability is when you know what you know and you know what you don't know. Usually we only know what we know, but we don't know what we don't know. So it is more like we know how to tackle our problems. Learner autonomy. Learner can be called as an autonomous learner when he is able to be responsible in his own learning. So the students that can be called as autonomous learner has sense of responsibility, tend to question regarding the lesson, set some strategies to achieve their goals, and they they know why they should learn something, because we'll see They ask questions, why they learn a specific lesson, what they are learning about, and how to master the lesson. They know their purpose. I mean, why they learn something. They ask question first, and then they will find the answer. After they find the answer, they will set some strategies to achieve their goal by planning, monitoring, and evaluating themselves in accordance to their aim. So what is their goal in learning this lesson? For example, they learn language, what they want to achieve. They want to be able to speak, they want to be able to read, or something like that. In spite of the fact that learner autonomy is something personal, it is based on our own, for example, as a learner, our own self, our own consciousness of the sense of meaning or importance of the learning, but school can help the student, can affect the student to choose choices, so it will help them to be free with their own choices. They will be able to naturally improve their learner autonomy. Okay, we'll see the method. The method uses questionnaire, and then the questionnaire on learner autonomy based on the scenario, the components, there are 4 components, and then the result, the effect of portfolio assessment on learner autonomy, which implemented on learners writing project affects positively to the development of on their autonomy in learning. So this portfolio assessment affect the students positively to help them improve in their autonomy, to be more autonomous, so the learner be able to be more free to choose what they want to do with their learning. And portfolio as the media promote learner autonomy as the media to promote learner autonomy allows learner to decide what to do, how to do it, to complete the task or his or her on their own way, to include relatable individual speed and strategy on doing their task. Portfolio make it free for the student to choose what they want to work on the uh, on their task. So they will also have their own speed and strategy. It's not only limited, for example, 30 minutes, then the student need to be done with their assessment, or they need to do it a certain way, and then it's all the same for us, all the students, but it doesn't happen like that. And then this portfolio builds learners' confidence in being responsible and also being more conscious on their own learning, which makes them autonomous learners. So they are become more confident in doing their tasks because they can choose whatever they want. They feel confidence with what they choose, and then they are more conscious. They see the importance of the learning because it is near with them, because it is something they want, something they choose on their own. The comment is authentic assessment or portfolio in this paper believed to be able to assess not only the result but also the progress of the learners. And I agree, we agree as a group with this comment, with this result, because the study of authentic assessment and its relation to reading done by Adrianti and Mauludin in 2017 show the same result, the positive responses of the learners, and it also motivate the learners, make them more confident. In this case, it motivates them to read and learn new vocabulary, improve their ability to demonstrate their reading, help them in assessing their own performance. So assessing their own self is also part of learner autonomy. So it really improves the students' learner autonomy. So the students or the learners can assess their own performance. They can see whether they already good enough or not yet. They need to improve in some aspect or something like that. And also the other things, the portfolios significantly contribute to the empowering both the metacognition and writing proficiency. This is done by the Farahian and Avarzanani. So it helps the student to improve both their metacognitive and their cognitive level. So it's really a good thing. We'll continue with the next presenter. Yolanda, the time is yours.
Hi everyone, I'm Yolanda. We'll continue to discuss and describe the discussion and review about portfolio assessment and metacognitive development in EFL classroom. Mahaerani, as the researcher in this study, stated that among the third aspects of metacognitive in this study, risk-taking is rarely studied aspects. Okay, this is the second aspect that we'll discuss in this study. So, what is the risk-taking? Risk-taking is a willingness to venture into unknown. It is a willing to try something new and different without fear of success or failure. As in this case, authentic assessment is used in portfolio assessment that provides students with opportunities to judge their own work and learning progress based on feedback to various kinds of teacher-made tests and performance tests such as student portfolio. Okay, why should risk taking? There are three important points. Why should risk taking? The first one is risk taking is essential to innovation. Anyone to develop a new product, of course, service or idea risk that possibility it will not work, that someone else will get the first or will be met with disinterest. And the second one, risk-taking is a challenging skill. The students need to be brave to get out on the safe track. It means that in doing a project, for example, they need to explore more. The students need to take risks and involve complex decision in making to find out the solution. This is, of course, a challenge for them. The student can help themselves to evaluate alternative courses of action and can help to build their confidence in doing something. And further, Rolf in 2010 also explained that the risk-taking within curriculum subjects can enhance the learning by enabling young people, or in this case is the students, to make more decisions and to experiment with different ideas and approaches. It is indicated that as important factor, it is important factor that can improve the student in learning. Risk-taking can help the student to be innovative, adaptable, and capable of making good decisions. And in this case, the teacher concern to improve the student risk-taking that can improve personal learning and thinking skills. I also remember that when Carol Dweck highlights a statement in her TED talk, she said that she said that reminding students that they have mastered things they once got wrong allows the students to understand their place on learning curve and stress that through ongoing effort and persistence they will eventually achieve. So, by giving valuable feedback and shows the students how they can grow or reveals the idea the risks are something opportunity. The method and the data collection. The method used in this research is experimental studies by using portfolio assessment. It involved 160 students from three different schools. And the data collection the data was collected by using questionnaire, which was adapted from Leonardo's in 2013, which have five components of risk taking. The first one is hidden expectation, consists of confidence and work hard in learning. The second one, constant learning, eager to do something new, reaching information and testing information. The third one, embrace change, trying to trying to improve, to do the improvement, looking forward for a flux information. The fourth one, trust instinct, make decision based on intelligence, take decision based on abstract thinking. And the last one is gambler, is consists of brave in learning and never worry about the failure. Okay, what is the result of the study? The results drawn from the study are it can be concluded that portfolio assessment can foster student risk-taking. The portfolio positive has positive effects. Their students become creative and innovative. And the third one, portfolio assessment facilitates the development of risk-taking. Okay, there are some capacities based on the the findings, it can be concluded that there are some capacities of learner associated with risk-taking on which language learning assisted with portfolio assessment has positive effects. Portfolio assessment requires students to work on a series of language tasks and produce a collection of words over a relatively long period of time. And to complete the task, the student may take different strategy. They give a freedom to use a strategy that is suitable with their learning. To respond to an open-ended task, for instance, in writing tasks, a teacher asks the students to write. For example, the teacher asks the student to write down a short essay in descriptive genre. The teacher gives only the theme, and the student may use their topic and elaborate in a writing. And for the students, tasks like this force them to be more creative and innovative, trying and to do in doing or trying something new. This involves complex decision making to find out solution by experimenting with different ideas and approaches. The student risk, of course, in doing this, the student will have success or failure. And the possibility is high, but there is no other choice for them. The task must be complete at a time. A continuous exercise like this will make the students accustomed to take risks and eventually become independent students. And let's go to conclusion. Can be concluded that uh, portfolio assessment in risk-taking in this case as one of the three important aspects in metacognitive has been proven by the researcher as effective to be developed through implementation of portfolio assessment. And in making decision, the student cannot avoid the failure. A risk taker is close with the failure. I agree that with this statement because the student will have deeper understanding when they learn from mistake and experience. Therefore, the risk taking is crucial in learning. And the student, by having the risk taking, the student will have deeper understanding when they learn from their mistake and experience. So that's all from my explanation. Thank you. And the next will be continued by Karima.
Right. Hi everyone, my name is Karima. Now I will continue with the last aspect of metacognitive discussed in the study, which is the learning ownership. And as has been previously mentioned, this study focuses on the use of portfolio as an authentic assessment in fostering and assessing metacognitive aspects, namely learners' autonomy, risk-taking, and learning ownership. And basically, learning ownership stresses the real actions of choice and control by the learners on their own learning. And for learning ownership, there are three interacting components of learning ownership, which is finding personal value, in which that, for example, understanding how the knowledge and the skills developed in a learning process might be useful in other situations outside the original learning situations. And then there's also feeling in control, in which that the learners has an active role in making decisions and also taking responsibility where the students is counted as accountable for the process of learning as well as its results. And when all of these three components overlap, just as you can see on the slides, the learner reaches the highest level of ownership. So yeah, this is based on the study from Milner Bulletin in 2001. And there are four major features of learning ownership. First, it fosters independence in learning, and then it also encourages reflection on the learning process. And then the third, it shows students' ability to identify their own learning needs or goals. And then the last one, it shows students' active participation in the learning process. And all of these major features and all of the previous features of learning ownership leads to the reason why portfolio assessment might be beneficial for fostering students metacognitive skills, which are First, it allows teachers to witness students' achievements in ways that standardized or state testing often cannot, such as the development of skills and strategies, and then also the cognitive process. And then it also demonstrates the students' learning process and progress, and it also encourages independence and reflection for the students. Okay, and for the study, as has been previously discussed, there were 3 experiments in the study, one for each metacognitive aspect. And portfolio assessment with process approach to writing was implemented in the experimental groups, while the process approach and conventional product-oriented assessment was implemented in the control groups. The questionnaires were distributed for each of the metacognition aspects. For learning ownership, this study combined questionnaires from Latkins 2007 and Haag and Niederers in 2007 and Milner-Bolotins in 2001. The questionnaires were validated before use, and the learning ownership questionnaires contain 76 items with the reliability coefficient of 0.924. Yes. And the questionnaire in the conceptualization of learning ownership has 4 major aspects. It has independent, reflective, able to identify learning needs and participation. For the independent aspect, there are 5 indicators, which are use language in unrehearsed situation, use a range of sources to get linguistic and factual information, and then plan work either alone or with a partner, choose the topic or aspect to be studied, and then take decisions about the task and how it is going to be implemented and fulfilled. And for indicators of other aspects can be seen on the screen. You can just have a look and have a read at the aspects. Yeah, and basically the study shows that portfolio assessment, which was implemented in the writing lessons, affect the development of students' learning ownership significantly, where the average of scores of students' learning ownership who were treated in writing lessons using portfolio assessment was 309.76, while the average score of those treated using the conventional assessment was 285.37 respectively. So yeah, it is similar with the previous findings, which means that the development of students' learning ownership can be facilitated by the implementation of portfolio assessment in EFL learning. Yeah. And well, according to Lakin in 2007, a student with learning ownership is independent, reflective, able to identify all learning needs and goals, and is an active participant in the learning process. And they will feel that the language task or exercise given by the teacher is his or hers, not his or her teachers. And there is a sense of belonging to the learning. And to develop this metacognitive ability, portfolio assessment provides opportunity for the students through self-assessment during working on a language task, and also having continuous exercise on self-assessing on work along the portfolio assessment process gradually fosters the feeling of belonging to the learning, which will lead the students to find it important, especially for them to participate in discussions, making choices, take responsibility, and make decisions. It also stresses the real choice and control of learning by the learner, just as discussed in Enhag and Niederer in 2007 and O'Malley and Valdez Pierce in 1996. Yes. All in all, the study concluded that metacognitive development in general is strongly related to the implementation of portfolio assessment as a form of authentic assessment in language classrooms, especially in the EFL context. And the results of the study also strengthen the beliefs on portfolio assessment as a comprehensive assessment tool in language learning. However, it's also important to note that the 3 aspects of metacognition share the same characteristics. However, like testing them individually can provide deeper insights for further research. So it is also recommended for further research to test each metacognition aspect individually. And my thoughts on this after reading the portfolio as a whole, I agree with the points addressed by this study that sees portfolio assessment as a comprehensive assessment tool in language learning, especially in providing documentation of process and students' growth um, that could help improve the learner's personal development. This can also help reflecting assessment for learning in a way that it can increase the students' way of thinking and solving problems and gain better control about thinking and feeling by reflecting and evaluating their own learning processes, which is according to the study done by Eddie, Suwarno, and Sunomo, Basuki in 2019. And adding on to the two aspects I have discussed, um, I think portfolio assessment can also be alternatives for assessing behavior because this is based on my reflection on our discussion in another class about assessing behavior in Indonesian context. Portfolio might be a way to assess several aspects in behavior, such as discipline, confidence, responsibility, and possibly other aspects as well, depending on the task given to the students through portfolio assessment. Um, this is because I believe that portfolio assessment occurs in the student's natural environment and allows the parents, the teachers, and staff to evaluate the student's strengths and weaknesses, which can inform students' behavior when learning. And yeah, but for this one, I think I'm open for discussion. You may agree, you might not agree, or we can like have further discussions on this. And yeah, I think that is all from us. Thank you for your attention. Any questions, feedback, or suggestions are very much appreciated. Thank you.